What is going on, guys? Getting in the green. Absolutely crushed NBA last night. So I hope you guys listened in. Took first place on Superdraft both tournaments. And, pretty good in DraftKings, top 300 in both big tournaments. But we absolutely nailed that 2 game slate. So had a lot more on the table today. We got 11 games. So we're going to try and take you game by game, give you some guys I'm looking at, and some value plays at each game here, and you guys can kind of put the lineups together from there. So we're going to start on DraftKings. First game, we've got Indiana at Charlotte, and you got LaMelo Ball, who Rozier might not play at this point. I think he's a game time decision. If Rozier doesn't go, I think LaMelo Ball is definitely reasonable at 7,700. Not in love with Hayward's price. Rozier, Plumlee, not expecting too much from him. And, that's about it for Charlotte. I'm not really looking too much there. Bridges, you want to definitely, he got upgraded to probable, so we're expecting him to play. But, he might get some points in there. But for the most part, if I'm playing Charlotte, we're looking at LaMelo Ball. Now, Indiana, on the other hand, Sabonis is one of my favorite pay-ups on this slate. The guy is an absolute machine. I'm not convinced in Charlotte's front court. I'm just not expecting too much. And outside of those two guys, though, that's where I'm at on this game. I don't want to really pay the $7,500 for Brogdon, PJ Washington, and some of these other guys in this game. Maybe Miles Turner down at 5,700. But for the most part, first game of the slate, Indiana-Charlotte, I'm looking at Sabonis, and I'm looking at LaMelo Ball. LaMelo's a little hard to play, especially we'll get into it. There's some point guards with value here later on. But Sabonis is one of the top pay-ups at 9,800 on this slate. So that's kind of game one there. I do expect Indiana to win that game, but it's not going to be a blowout, so you shouldn't have any issues there as far as guys getting benched early. This next game is real interesting. We got Chicago, Detroit. Injury news to kind of start out. We got Cade Cunningham won't be making his debut tonight. And for Chicago, we got Kobe White out. We don't know what we're going to get from the Chicago team. And they're a little thin in the front court. So we've got Vukovic who's going to start, and that's kind of where that ends as far as starting, depth there. You got Levine, you got DeRozan, you got Lonzo Ball. Running it back on the other side, you got Jerami Grant. But you got to kind of pick your spots here. I like Jerami Grant, man. That guy, $6,500. He tends to always come through, but he is scoring dependent. But on a Detroit team that's going to be looking to lean on him, definitely an option. Kelly Olynyk for Detroit's looked good in the preseason. We kind of know he's that stretch big man, and if that's the route they want to go, he could definitely at $6,000 kind of make value for you. I was hoping he was going to be a little bit cheaper there, and he would have been a smash play for me. So at $6,000, you got to kind of make a decision. Now, for Chicago, I'm probably going to avoid the big dogs. There's just too many weapons, and we don't know how this usage is going to go yet. So I'm not going to be spending up there, but the one player for Chicago that does catch my eye is going to be Patrick Williams. And he should see some serious run here, with especially how thin they are in the backcourt. And, if Williams at $4,200, if he's going to get upwards of 28 to, 30 minutes, that should be a smash spot for him there. And you could definitely save some money going that route down at, he's got small forward, power forward eligibility here. So I like that spot for Patrick Williams. Other than that, if you want to throw in a Jerami Grant, I could see that going. Other than that, this is just kind of another game that I'm going to really be staying away from for the most part. Moving into Boston Knicks. We're waiting on Jaylen Brown, but right here, actually, will play and start. They were worried about his conditioning coming off of COVID, but he's looking like that's a go, and really all that does for me is kind of knock down Jason Tatum. If Tatum was going to go by himself, I loved him in that spot. But we're kind of looking at, a spot where they're going to split. and you just got to make decisions at that point. So in this game, I don't love Boston unless you want to come down and take a shot on Grant Williams, who's going to be starting for them. And I mean, the guy is cheap. We're talking $3,000 for a starting power forward / center eligibility. I definitely think he can get you that fantasy points to make that value there and really help you play some of these big dogs that are later in the slate. So Williams would kind of be my go-to there for Boston if he, and I mean, it's officially starting, so you're kind of in a good position there with him. Now, on the other side, man, I am loving Julius Randle's 8,800. I got no problem paying that. I mean, this guy is a beast at power forward. You can roll him out of center if you want, but there's a couple centers on this slate that you're going to definitely want a piece of. So for me in this game, I'm either paying down, getting Williams, or I'm just going to be coming up here at the top for Randle. I don't want any part of Brown and Tatum, even though they could both go off. I kind of want to see how it plays out a little here. I'm worried about Brown's minutes being really restricted. Moving into the next game, trying to blow through this here for you guys. We got Washington, Toronto. I like this game. Couple different things here. Siakam's out. Hachimura's out. Bryant, the center's out. So you got some serious opportunities here. Van Fleet's a beast, 7,500. The guy's probably going to take over. Everybody's really hyped on OJ Anunoby. I can't get behind the guy just yet. I really want to see him be that elite fantasy guy that they're kind of hoping he's going to be. So I'm going to be fading him. I know he's a popular play tonight. I won't be having any OG Anunoby exposure. As far as the rest of that Toronto team, Dragic I'm not too interested in playing. You got Scotty Barnes, the rookie, who's just not getting any respect. $3,400. Definitely, I mean, you're getting a starting small forward here. I'm a little worried about how many minutes they're going to give him. But, I mean, the guy flashed in the preseason. He looked really good. So, Scotty Barnes is in play. Absolutely. The other, kind of spot you want to look at here in this game is going to be Washington, man. And with the departure of Westbrook, we've got Dinwiddie, who's going to be Dimwittle, it is Witty, who will be starting there for Washington at the shooting guard. This guy's an absolute machine. $4,900 is just a mistake. He's almost a must-play for me here at the point guard position. And then you can't go wrong. Bradley Beal is Bradley Beal. If you want to pay up for Bradley Beal in this slate, there is nothing wrong with that. I mean, this should be a back-and-forth game. Beal's usage rate was out of control when Westbrook was out last year. So I like Beal here, but I mean, my play is going to be Dinwiddie. And then another nice little slide in here if you're interested and you followed the preseason, this guy's going to definitely be played, is Gafford at center at 4,900. This guy gets it done on a per minute basis. And in a game against Toronto where he's probably going to have to get some good run, I could definitely see Gafford paying off that $4,900 price tag for you. So that's kind of it for that Washington game, though. Other than that, yeah, I mean, we're moving into Cleveland, Memphis, and now I don't know what Cleveland's doing here, but they got so many big men, it's almost impossible to play these guys, man. I mean, you're looking at, you got the two great guards. You got Sexton and Garland. Both overpriced here. Kevin Love, 5,800, probably still overpriced. Okoro, I don't even think that guy's going to start. Overpriced. CD Osman, overpriced. Rubio's overpriced. Evan Mobley's 4,500, but, I mean, what kind of role is he really going to carve out? Game one? I don't know. If anybody, I'd say the interesting one to me is Markkanen, and I'm not sure if he has a role, but I know they've experimented with him at the 3. If they go really big and they play this guy at small forward, man, he has games where he just goes off. $4,100, I don't think it's a terrible place to go. But I will tell you, on an 11-game slate, man, you better love your lineup. There's no reason to be taking too many flyers here that you're not comfortable with. So I'll probably sprinkle some more cake. I'm not huge on the guy, though, but I think he does have value there for Cleveland. Memphis, I think Jackson Jr. here is getting disrespected at 5,900. The guy's definitely worth about 7,000. Decent play there, but again, like I said, you got to love these spots on this card, especially at that price point. There's some interesting plays. Ja Morant is Ja Morant. I don't love him here, but at 9,100, if you want to go GPP, you want to play some Ja Morant, I mean, by all means, go for it. Let's move into another very interesting game. We got Houston at Minnesota, and these two teams are going to score some points. I think it's the highest implied total on the night, maybe second to Portland, Sacramento, but this is going to be a shootout. We've got Towns, who's always a stud, but he's $9,700. You got to make a decision there. Christian Wood, who's had interesting games last year, but I think a lot of the times that he was making value was a lot cheaper. He's looking at $8,000 salary tonight. Not the worst position to be in, but for me, there's some better options up at the top there. Now you kind of get, Kevin Porter Jr. is a great smash play tonight with John Wall out. But he's $7,800, and you need a serious game from this guy to hit that value. So I'm probably not playing him on DraftKings, but he's very interesting to me over on Superdraft. So other than that, I don't think Eric Gordon plays that much, even though he's starting. You've got Jalen Green here, and this is the value play on this card here. $4,200 for Houston. This guy looked good, the rookie. He's just getting undervalued here to start the season. And what I think is a great game, and you're saving so much money off Kevin Porter Jr., I think Jalen Green's the play here. Now, as far as Minnesota goes, it is Towns and bust for me, and I don't want anything else. And honestly, my Towns usage is going to be pretty light. But there's not much else on Minnesota that interests me. Anthony Edwards is all the way up 7,100. Could definitely have a breakout game. Maybe get a little of him in there, but I'm not playing Russell at 8,500. So, yeah, for me, it's going to be Towns, maybe a sprinkle of Edwards on that Minnesota side of things. Sliding over now, we're into the back five here, the back half. We got Philly, New Orleans, and Joel Embiid, $10,600 is going to make value for you. That guy's got something to prove here. No Ben Simmons. You got all the issues with that guy. He needs the whole world to know that we're good here. New Orleans is not stopping that guy. Zion's out here. Simmons is out with the suspension. Joel Embiid is going to get probably the highest usage rating of the whole night. The guy is a monster. And I'm playing him. I'm playing his props tonight. Over 28.5 points, over 11 rebounds. This guy is going to go off tonight. So Joel Embiid is the pay-up for me on the night. Ingram, interesting play. 7,700 is a little higher than I was hoping. I don't love Valanciunas. I don't love Harris at their price points. The one thing, though, and this guy is the darling of the season last year, when Simmons sits, Maxey is a beast. We got him at $4,000 tonight, and this guy is going to absolutely go off as the starting point guard there in Philly. Other than that, this game, for as much scoring as they're going to be, maybe you play a little Seth Curry if you think he's going to score. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I honestly think Philly's going to get out ahead, and they're going to coast here, man. But I think Embiid is going to be the big part of that. And those are the guys I'm playing on this one. So Embiid at the top, kind of fading that center ground there, and really, really loving Maxey at the point guard here. I got him on almost every lineup, hoping that guy comes through. Also has an insane multiplier on Superdraft. We'll get into that in a second. But let's move on to the next game, Orlando, San Antonio. I can't get myself to play too much San Antonio, man. I think maybe, there's a spot for Keldon Johnson at 5,100. I could see that play maybe. Other than that, man, there's not much I love here. Even on the other side of this, flip over to Orlando, and I mean, Jalen Suggs has a great price tag, $4,000. He's off the injury report, but I'm really worried about the kind of minutes they're going to give this guy game one. I think the guy's going to be a stud here later on in the year, but with the other 4,000, I got Maxey at 4,000. I can't get to Suggs, and this game in general might just be really slow paced, man. I know Orlando's going to try and kind of move it, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything on this that I like. So if you want to take the shot on Keldon Johnson, 5,100, go for it. Other than that, this game is pretty much going to stay away from it. On an 11-game slate, you got to kind of pick your spots that you want to avoid because you can't be in every game. So Keldon Johnson or pass for me on that one, and we're going to move right into OKC Utah. This game, man, Shea shows up on every optimizer because that guy's an absolute stud at 7,200. But I don't think this is his greatest matchup. I'm not playing Conley. He's a little too expensive. Mitchell's not the pay up I'm going to at 9,600, even though late in the night, I mean, this guy could definitely go off. Scrolling through here, man. I'm not seeing much, man. Utah runs a pretty tight rotation. You're going to get a good, Ingles, O'Neal, Clarkson, maybe. He's not a bad spot there at 6,100, but probably too expensive. So, yeah, here's another game where, take a shot on Shea if you want 7,200. The guy rarely disappoints, but I think Utah crushes this game. And if Shea gets, definitely gets pulled early and blowout. So be weary of the blowout with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander at 7,200. We got two games here at 7 p.m. So the first one, both of these games, great fantasy games. And I know they're going to be highly owned. Everybody kind of likes to play catch up in fantasy. I was loving it last night. And here we go. We got Denver at Phoenix. Jokic. No Murray in this one. And when Murray's out, Jokic is the guy. I got a hard time not playing him. I have a lot of Jokic and Embiid, and I'm playing down on a lot of guys. So, look, Jokic is a stud. I'm not worried about Ayton. Don't get confused. I know it says here on DraftKings the opponent's ranked 6th against centers. That's against true centers. Jokic is going to pull Ayton away from the basket. He's going to shoot the three. He's going to go around him. He's going to facilitate that offense. That does not apply to this guy here. And, in a game without Murray, that guy's usage is the whole offense will run through him. So I'm loving Jokic here. Like, if you want to take a shot on like a Michael Porter Jr. down there at 6,400, not the worst idea. For Phoenix, just a balanced squad, man. I don't think Chris Paul is going to really force any issues here. So for me, I'm going to kind of fade Phoenix here. I love Jokic, and I don't mind a shot on Michael Porter Jr., but won't be playing that as heavy. So definitely consider paying up for Jokic, though. Sacramento at Portland, and here's where you got to make some decisions, man. Damian Lillard's $10,100, and he is at home in a spot to just go nuts. He's tough to play, though. We got the Bradley Beals of the world. We've got, all these big men that are just absolute beasts. So, look, Lillard's on my radar. He's not necessarily my favorite pay up, but primetime, late night, last game of the night, you can't ever go wrong with having Damian Lillard in your lineup. I think Fox is overpriced at 9,300. Not loving Harrison Barnes here. McCollum, 7,200. Don't trust him, but he healed. Nurkic, Talibert. Rashawn Holmes tends to get it done, and I know they told Bagley that he's not going to be playing. So don't play Bagley that he's not going to be in this rotation until they get rid of this guy. Don't play him. Rashawn Holmes, is a good play. I don't know how he fares against, Portland's speed, but Rashawn Holmes is a good play here. Other than that, man, not too many guys that I'm really looking at. So, yeah, I mean, we got some. I mean, for me, look, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm building these lineups. I'm paying up for the top guys, at least two of them, and then I think there's just so much value baked into some of these rookies and some of these other spots down at the 4,000 to 3,000 range. So I'm gonna try and get as many top dogs as I can. Sprinkle in those ones where they just made a mistake on these values, and we're gonna go from there on DraftKings, man. It's crazy to see the returns were so much lower on DraftKings than Superdraft last night. And it's just how many people are in these tournaments, man. So, look, we're going to go to Superdraft here next because, God, I love this site right now, man. I mean, I think one of my tournaments that I was in filled at 60% last night. I already beat 40% before we even got started. That's crazy. So, look, last night I told you I went two of the big dogs at each position, sprinkled in. Ended up sprinkling in a lot of Patty Mills, who went off, and Bajlika, who absolutely won me everything last night in the fourth quarter. That guy got it done for me. So I got some love for that guy now. Is this news? Let's see. Still questionable for Rozier, but it's showing out on here. So I'm going to have to double check that. But if Rozier's out, like I said, big bump to LaMelo Ball. They also got rid of some guards. I like LaMelo Ball anyways, but if Rozier's out, that guy's going to smash his props, smash his value. Let's take a look. Guards here at the top. We got Beal, Lillard, Mitchell, Booker. I'm going to be playing some Beal and Lillard, definitely up at the top. Shea's a 1.2, real interesting. Not going to be playing too much of him, though. I was kind of hoping to get like that 1.35 with him. Russell, Morant, not touching. Sexton, no. 1.2 on LaMelo Ball. Like I said, if that Rozier out is official, I love that spot. DeRozan, Lonzo, Garland, Walker, Paul, Van Fleet at 1.25 without Siakam. I do like that spot for him against Washington. I think this turns into a back and forth, and Van Fleet can light it up when he gets hot. So I'll be looking at some Van Fleet at 1.25. Not touching a lot of this stuff. McCollum, Fox, Murray, Edwards going to be fading a lot of that. Schroeder's a fade. Kind of looking for some of these guys that I had on DraftKings. Let's see where we're at here. Here's the one. Kevin Porter Jr. at 1.35x I think is a great spot for him. Definitely going to be starting over, in that John Wall kind of position and maybe even all the way down to small forward. The guy plays it all, and this guy lights it up. So 1.35 on Kevin Porter Jr. is a great spot for him. Kind of sliding down here. I know there's some names I'm looking for, and I just don't see them yet. So I'm getting excited here. Here we go. Dinwiddie's a 1.5x. Smash spot for this guy. He's going to score 30 plus, so you get that 1.5x multiplier, and he's looking real good. We're going to come down a little further here in the guards. Jalen Green at 1.65. Not bad. But if I'm going to play one of the Houston guards, I'm going to go up and pay, get the 1.35 on Kevin Porter. So, Green, great play on DraftKings. I'll play a little bit of him here on Advanced Superdraft, but not as excited about him. Where is my guy Maxey at? Keldon Johnson's a 1.7x, and know that this guy has forward and guard eligibility. He's going to be filling in a lot of spots for me here at 1.7. I think that guy's got a prime matchup against Orlando. So I like that spot for him there. Bane, and I don't think we talked too much about him about DraftKings, but Bane is in the starting lineup at shooting guard. 1.75x, not a bad spot here for him. Might have to go back at DraftKings and take a look at that guy, actually see where he's at on the price point. Bane is in play. Here we go. Maxey, 1.75x is a must play on Superdraft tonight. That guy will be on optimal. Loving that spot for him. I think I ran across all the guys I really like in this slate. So 1.75 on Maxey, must play, and I'm going to play a couple of these top guys. Maybe a LaMelo Ball and maybe a Kevin Porter, and we're going to go from there. We're going to make it work. Going into forwards now, and my biggest issue here on Superdraft with the forwards is I want to play them all. Embiid is a must-play for me. I know he's a 1x, but the guy's going to absolutely crush value. Sabonis beast. Julius Randle at 1.15. I like him a little more than I like Sabonis with that multiplier. Tatum, but we know Jaylen Brown's playing, so I don't love that. Let's go down here. Forwards are a little more scarce. Only you're getting a 1.3 on Jackson Jr. Not great spot for him. Let's see. Rashawn Holmes at 1.35. Not going to get it done. I mean, if you're buying the OJ Anunoby, 1.5 is a good spot for him if you like that. You're only getting 1.55 on Gafford. Not in love with that spot either. Markakin's a 1.65. I don't trust his role just yet. You got Keldon Johnson here as well at the 1.7 if you want to put him in as a forward, which might not be the worst situation here. You got Patrick Williams, 1.75's okay. Could see him getting in there and getting it done. Where is Grant Williams? Wow, 2x on Grant Williams. I love that spot for this guy. Like I said, he's starting. He's going to get it done. The Knicks, decent defense, but I think at a 2x, I like that spot for Williams a lot. So I'll probably be going there on some. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, forwards, man, real top heavy, and you're gonna have a hard time outscoring Embiid, Sabonis, and Randle. You could take your shots down lower, but yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. The three of those guys they're gonna be tough to beat on a total. So, with Superdraft, you don't have to worry about the salary cap. Play the big dogs here, man. I'm seeing a couple value plays, sprinkle them in with two of those guys maybe, but I got no problem playing if you went all three of those guys. Might end up 1, 2, 3 in scoring for the forwards. So I'll keep an eye on that, though. Centers. Now, you're playing Embiid at forward. You're going to play Sabonis at forward. You've really got to make a decision here at center. You've got Jokic at 1x. You've got Karl Anthony Towns at 1.05x. I'm leaning Jokic big time there. Other than that, man, I'm not coming down. I think there's, potential from a lot of these guys. But you want my honest opinion, man. Jokic is the highest scoring center on the slate, and he's going to probably be chalky. I'm hoping that little red ranking there for opponents' ranks against center scares some people off. That don't understand that this guy's basically playing a point center role for this team. I don't even want to give you anybody else to play. I mean, I'm going to be rolling out. I'll throw in a Karl Anthony Towns just in case. He has a great matchup with Houston. But Jokic, man, without Murray, he's going to be chalky, but he might be the high scorer on the board tonight. So I'm going Jokic at center. I do want to hop back over to DraftKings real quick to kind of get you guys that Desmond Bane price tag. Let's see where he was at. And I'm not sure how I missed him there, but that guy is definitely in play. So, against Cleveland, who's going to try and go big, we've got Desmond Bane all the way down at $3,200. So, a great spot there for pivoting if you want to get some Bane in your lineups. All right, guys. Look, we crushed it last night. Let's go back-to-back tonight. We're getting in the green. Like and subscribe. We're going to be going every day with basketball, and I'm going to try and get closer and closer to that 4:30 tip to give you guys the latest news that I can. Hopefully get on Twitter here, drop some injury news for you guys as we get closer. Also, quick note, put anybody that's questionable or you even have concern about getting scratched, throw those guys down in the utility guard forward just so you have more pivot options. Don't kind of lock them into one position that can limit your pivots there at the end. So, hey, let's get some money tonight and keep this train rolling.